If you are looking to buy a new gaming CPU, then this video is going to be for you. I will show you the best CPU for every budget and every resolution, and not only that, but I will also tell you what GPU I recommend you buying for each CPU. That way, if you want to build a complete PC build, you know which GPU is the perfect fit for each CPU. I will try to explain everything as simply as possible. That way, if you are new to PCs, you understand what I'm saying anyway. All the links to these CPUs and more will be down below in the video description. With that being said, let's start. If you are on a really tight budget, then you want to consider the i3-12100F or the Ryzen 5 5500. Both are very similar in terms of performance. The i3-12100F is a bit faster, but the Ryzen 5 5500 has more cores, which is going to be helpful if you want to do other tasks such as video editing. Also, the i3-12100F supports DDR5, which I do not recommend you anyway at this price point. Both are $100 right now, really the same price, but the i3-12100F has better upgradability over time because the platform from Intel has better high-end CPUs than the AM4 platform. You can upgrade up to a 14th gen Intel CPU, which is the newest generation. But as I said before, both are very good for budget gaming, and it all comes down to whether you prefer Intel or you prefer AMD. In my opinion, if you are just going to do gaming, go with the i3-12100F, but if you're thinking of doing like video editing and streaming, then the Ryzen 5 5500 might be your best option. The best GPU in my opinion to pair with any of these CPUs is the RX 6600 or Intel Arc A750. Both very capable of 1080p 60 plus FPS on average gaming on high to ultra settings. With the next level, we have mid-range CPUs with the Ryzen 5 5600 or the i5-12400F. Both are basically the same when it comes to gaming performance, and they both have the same cores and threads, and on top of that, both of them are power efficient. And both right now are at the same price for $150. Now at the same price point, I do recommend you the i5-12400F because you have more upgradability over time with the Intel platform, just like I said with the i3-12100F. But I must say that the Ryzen 5 5600 often goes on a discount for around $120. So if you see it at $120 when you're watching this video, I do recommend you checking the links in the description for the latest prices. Then the Ryzen 5 5600 is the best option because you get essentially the same performance at a lower price. Now for the upper mid-range level, we have the Ryzen 5 7600 or the i5-13600K. And in my opinion, this is the hardest decision to make because both are great CPUs and both have pros and cons. Let's start with the Ryzen 5 7600. This is an amazing CPU for gaming. It's also on the AM5 platform, which you have even more upgradability over time because it's a new platform. And if you want to upgrade the CPU down the line to a better CPU from AMD, you will be able to buy newer CPUs from next generation without having to upgrade the motherboard, which is a nice feature to have. Also, the Ryzen 5 7600 is at a very decent price for $230. For gaming, in terms of price to performance, in my opinion, the 7600 is one of the best gaming CPUs that you can get right now. And you can also pair this CPU with really high-end GPUs such as the RX 7900 XTX or the RTX 4080 if you want to play at 4K resolution. And it will have no bottlenecks at that resolution. In the other hand, we have the i5-13600K, which is the current CPU I have on my system. This one is more expensive at $284. In terms of gaming performance, it's going to be similar to the Ryzen 5 7600, especially if you play at 1440p or 4K, where the difference between CPUs when it comes to gaming is not as big as 1080p resolution. Now the 13600K is much better for tasks like content creation, productivity work, and multi-core tasks in general. It also has the Intel integrated graphics, which is actually going to help you when it comes to video editing. And that's why I got this one for my system. I'm a content creator, I do like gaming on the side, so it was an amazing choice for me. However, which one is the best for you? Well, the 13600K, very similar in terms of performance, and is better when it comes to content creation and productivity. So if you are one of those guys who want to do more than just gaming, the 13600K, in my opinion, is the best option. However, the Ryzen 5 7600 is cheaper, has the same level of performance, is more upgradable over time, and is also more power efficient, which might be helpful for your electricity bill. You will not need a bigger cooler. You can get away with the stock cooler or a $20 to $30 cooler, where on the 13600K, you will not be able to get away with the stock cooler from Intel. So if you want the best price to performance CPU for gaming and you want more upgradability over time, the Ryzen 5 7600 in my opinion is your best option. The ideal GPU for any of these CPUs is the RX 7900 XT or the RTX 4070 Ti. And with the best high-end CPUs, we have the Ryzen 7 7800 X3D from AMD or the i7 13700K. And here, my opinion is strong about the AMD side. The Ryzen 7 7800 X3D is arguably the fastest CPU for gaming in the entire market, and it's super power efficient. While the 13700K is a bit cheaper, but it's not power efficient, and you will need a much bigger cooler if you want to keep the temps down. In terms of gaming performance, the 13700K is about 11% slower than the Ryzen 7 7800 X3D at 1080p resolution. Keep in mind that at 1440p and 4K, the difference is not going to be noticeable unless you play games that are really high CPU demanding on low settings, or if you play simulators such as Flight Simulator or Cities Skylines. But even then, the 13700K is going to be amazing for those type of titles, but in my opinion, the 7800 X3D is better just because it's very similar in terms of pricing, faster for gaming, and the main thing in my opinion is the power efficiency for the 7800 X3D. Not only that, but you are also on the M5 platform, which once again is more upgradable over time. However, if you want to do productivity on the side and also content creation, the 13700K performs better. So just like most of the CPUs from this video, if you want productivity and also gaming, then go with the Intel CPU, but if you want the best price to performance CPU for gaming and more power efficiency as well with more upgradability over time, go with AMD. These are in my opinion the best high-end CPUs. If you go with an i9 or a Ryzen 9, it's really not going to make a difference for gaming. Those are going to make a difference if you are a professional content creator and you do heavy productivity work or 3D rendering. Otherwise, those are not worth it in my opinion for the price that you're paying. Also, the ideal GPU for the i7 13700K or the Ryzen 7 7800 X3D is the RTX 4090. But of course, it depends on the type of games that you play and the resolution that you want to play at. Now, if you want a complete PC build, not only the CPU and GPU combo, because trust me, there are many possible bottlenecks when it comes to gaming PCs, and if you do not know what PC build you're getting or what components you are buying, you can potentially hurt your system and your gaming performance. For that reason, I do recommend you watching my video on the best gaming PC builds for 2024. You will have that one in the top right of the screen, where I go over every budget and resolution and give you a system that will be amazing in terms of price to performance. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.